Greetings, friends! As we continue on our journey around the world, exploring stamps from some of the lesser-known countries, regions, and territories, we will focus on countries that begin with the letter C. The first place I'll mention is Cabo Verde. Officially the Republic of Cabo Verde, it is an island country and archipelagic state in the central Atlantic Ocean off the coast of West Africa, and consists of 10 volcanic islands. Formerly known as Cape Verde, it became independent in 1975 and has remained one of the most developed and democratic countries in Africa. The Cape Verdean people trace their ancestry primarily to West African populations, with additional contributions from early Portuguese settlers. It has 500 years of Portuguese influence, and even now the official language is Portuguese. Although lacking in natural resources, its developing economy is mostly service-oriented, with a growing focus on tourism and foreign investment. Cape Verde offers stunning, diverse beaches ranging from white sand dunes to dramatic volcanic black sand. Key highlights include the popular Santa Maria Beach, the vast Santa Monica Beach, and scenic Tarrafal Beach, offering year-round sun, swimming, and water sports. Here are some stamps from Cabo Verde. The next nation is the Central African Republic. It is a landlocked nation in Central Africa, bordered by Chad, Cameroon, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Sudan, and South Sudan. It covers a large area of savanna and forest and has a population of several million people. Formerly part of the French colonial system, it was initially known as Ubangi Shari, before moving towards self-government in 1958 and achieving full independence on August 13, 1960. The nation comprises over 80 ethnic groups, each having its own language, and football, or soccer in the West, is its most popular sport. The per capita income of the Republic is said to be one of the lowest in the world. Diamonds are the country's most important export, and the agriculture is dominated by the cultivation and sale of food crops such as cassava, peanuts, maize, sorghum, millet, sesame, and plantain. The Central African Republic began issuing its own stamps in 1959, shortly after becoming an autonomous republic. Early stamps often commemorated national milestones like the anniversary of the republic. During the Central African Empire period, some stamps were inscribed Empire Centrafricain, reflecting this short-lived chapter in the nation's story. Central African Republic stamps are known for their wide range of themes, like these floral designs pictured here. Even global icons and historical figures, for instance, George Washington and Diana, Princess of Wales. And also some miscellaneous and thematic issues like these space-themed stamps, many of which were frequently produced with international markets in mind. Moving on to Ceylon. It is an island nation in the Indian Ocean just south of India. It features a diverse landscape, coastal plains, a central highland region with mountains and tea-growing hills, tropical forests, and fertile river valleys. Never heard of Ceylon? Well, you may know it better as Sri Lanka. While the country gained independence peacefully on February 4, 1948, it retained the name Ceylon until it was officially changed to Sri Lanka in 1972. Ceylon's culture reflects a blend of Sinhalese, Tamil, Muslim, and colonial influences. Buddhism is the predominant religion, alongside Hinduism, Islam, and Christianity. Tea, rubber, and coconut plantations long formed the backbone of the economy. Ceylon issued its first postage stamps in 1857 under British administration, featuring Queen Victoria. These classic issues are highly regarded by collectors for their engraving quality and postal history significance. They are on the pricier side as well. By the late 19th to early 20th century, stamps continued to portray British monarchs like Edward VII and George V, along with changes in color, denomination, and watermark. These issues saw widespread postal use across the island and abroad. After independence in 1948, stamps still bore the name Ceylon, but increasingly emphasized national identity rather than colonial imagery. The clear name change from Ceylon to Sri Lanka makes the country especially appealing for collectors interested in historical continuity and political change through stamps. Chad is a landlocked country in North Central Africa, bordered by Libya, Sudan, the Central African Republic, Cameroon, Nigeria, and Niger. It spans desert in the north, a semi-arid Sahelian belt in the center, and more fertile savanna in the south. Colonized by France in the early 1900s, Chad became part of French Equatorial Africa. It gained increasing autonomy in the late 1950s and full independence on August 11, 1960. The post-independence era was marked by civil conflict, struggles with governance, and regional disputes, including Libyan intervention in the 1970s and 80s, and later internal unrest. While Chad's population consists of many ethnic groups and languages, French and Arabic are the official languages. The economy remains largely agricultural, with cotton historically important and oil as a more recent export. Before issuing its own stamps, Mail in Chad used stamps of French Congo and later Ubangi Shari, Chad, with overprints. In 1922, Chad began issuing its own stamps as part of the French colonial postal system, often overprinted Chad with a T, and later Afrique Equatoriale Française. Forgive me if I don't pronounce that correctly. Chadian stamps have ranged from local subjects to wide thematic topics aimed at international collectors. For instance, this butterfly stamp and these art-themed stamps featuring scenes from Venice by Caffi. And they even went international with this stamp honoring JFK. The Comoros is an island nation in the Indian Ocean, located between the eastern African coast and Madagascar. It consists of 3 major islands, Grand Comore, Anjouan, and Moheli. The country declared its independence from France on July 6, 1975, and has since evolved through republic and federal republic systems, and today it is known as the Union of the Comoros. The Comoros is one of the least populated African nations, with Comorian, French, and Arabic as official languages. In the 19th century, French colonial influence grew across the islands. Prior to 1912, stamps used were typically French colonial general issues, with some islands like Anjouan, Grand Comore, and Moheli receiving stamp issues printed with their own names in the 1890s to 1906 period. From 1912 to 1950, the island's postal services were administered as part of Madagascar, so Madagascar stamps were used there. Philatelists identify Comorian mail from this period by cancellations showing local postmarks. The first stamps specifically for the Comoros archipelago appeared on 15th May 1950. Early themes included local landscapes, flora, fauna, traditions, and arts and crafts. After independence in 1975, existing stocks were overprinted with Etat Comorian to remove references to French sovereignty. In 1976 and 77, the country issued more new stamps in 2 years than in the entire previous archive, including topics far beyond strictly local culture, such as space exploration and international events. During later eras, as the Federal Islamic Republic and then the Union of the Comoros, stamp themes returned toward local and cultural subjects. Next up is the Cook Islands. They're a group of 15 small islands in the South Pacific Ocean located northeast of New Zealand and east of Australia. The islands are divided into a northern group of coral atolls and a southern group of volcanic islands with lush interiors and surrounding lagoons. Rarotonga is the largest island and the political and cultural center. Settled by Polynesians around 1,000 years ago, the islands later came into contact with Europeans in the late 18th century. The Cook Islands became a British protectorate in 1888 and was transferred to New Zealand administration in 1901. In 1965, they achieved self-governing status and free association with New Zealand, retaining close political and economic ties. Cook Islands' Maori culture is central to national identity, expressed through language, dance, music, and strong community ties. The economy is based on tourism, fishing, agriculture, and offshore services. The Cook Islands issued their first stamps in 1892, inscribed Cook Islands Federation. These early issues are notable for their simplicity and colonial-era typography. After New Zealand assumed control in 1901, stamps were inscribed Cook Islands and printed under New Zealand authority. Following self-government in 1965, the Cook Islands began issuing stamps under their own authority. Production increased and designs became more colorful and collector-oriented. Here are a few stamps from the Cook Islands. Côte d'Ivoire is a country in West Africa. More commonly known in English as Ivory Coast, it's located along the Gulf of Guinea, bordered by Liberia, Guinea, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Ghana. The region became a colony in the late 19th century and remained under French rule for decades. It achieved independence on August 7, 1960, becoming a republic with relatively stable governance compared with many of its neighbors. Over the years, the country has developed economically, particularly through agriculture like cocoa and coffee, while also reflecting a rich mosaic of ethnic traditions and artistic influences. The first stamps issued in the territory came from French colonial issues, initially general French colonies stamps in the 1860s, and then specific Côte d'Ivoire colonial issues beginning in 1892 to 1893 with the typical navigation and commerce designs. From about 1906 onward, many stamps were inscribed with Afrique Occidentale Francais, or AOF, since Ivory Coast was part of French West Africa, along with Senegal, Dahomey, Niger, and others. These shared designs often featured colonial motifs and regional themes. With autonomy in 1958 and full independence in 1960, the country began issuing stamps as the République de Côte d'Ivoire. Their first independent issues depicted national symbols like elephants, which is an iconic symbol of Ivory Coast. After that, indigenous cultural themes appeared, notably traditional masks representing various ethnic groups. Throughout the post-independence era, stamps have celebrated national culture, economic life, historical events, flora and fauna, and other themes reflecting Ivorian identity. Cyprus is an island nation in the eastern Mediterranean at the crossroads of Europe, Asia, and Africa. Its long and complex history includes periods under Venetian, Ottoman, and British control. Postal services on the island date back centuries, with the first organized postal communication recorded as early as the 12th to 15th centuries during the Lusignan and Venetian eras. In 1878, Britain assumed administrative control and British stamps were initially used in Cyprus. In 1880, regular British stamps were overprinted Cyprus, and in 1881, the first stamps designed specifically for Cyprus were issued. Cyprus gained independence from the United Kingdom on August 16, 1960, after which its postal service began issuing stamps as the Republic of Cyprus. After independence, Cyprus postal services began issuing regular, definitive, and commemorative stamps portraying national symbols, history, culture, and local wildlife. There is a lot more fascinating history that you can read up about Cyprus, so I encourage you to do so. More modern, however, Cyprus offers a beautiful Mediterranean getaway, blending ancient ruins, pristine beaches, and vibrant culinary traditions. If you can, go visit. Cyrenaica is a historic region in eastern Libya, bordering the Mediterranean Sea. Known in antiquity as part of the Greek world, Cyrenaica was founded by Greek settlers from Terra in the 7th century BC. The region later came under Roman, Byzantine, Arab, Ottoman, and Italian rule. Its long and layered history is reflected indirectly through the postal systems of the empires and states that governed it. As with Cyprus, Cyrenaica has a lot of history behind it, so I do encourage you to go and do some research yourself to read up on this. As regards stamps, Ottoman stamps cancelled in Cyrenaican towns marked the earliest postal history of the region, and this is pre-1911. Between 1911 and 1934, there were Italian occupation and colony issues. After independence, that is 1951 to the present time, Cyrenaica ceased to have separate issues, becoming part of Libya's unified postal system. Well, friends, this brings us to the end of another video. We went around the world from Cape Verde all the way to Cyrenaica in Libya, learning about the history and culture of these countries as well as the stamps they produced. I hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to like, subscribe, and share, and I'll catch you on the next one.